Hey, what's up, Good Life family? Thanks for joining me for this 128 moment. As I think about the 21st century church, we are facing a defining moment, and how we meet this time will shape how the world sees Christ and Christianity, possibly for generations to come. We are facing unprecedented times, but we can't be confused into thinking we're the only Christ followers who face difficulty, the only Christ followers who have faced unsettling times. We can look back to many throughout history about how people have faced much worse than what we're facing right now. And they've met that moment, and God has used it for His glory and for the growth of the church. So consider the first century church, just coming off the execution of Christ at the cross and the triumph at the empty tomb and the pouring out of the Holy Spirit at Pentecost, with a lot going on, thousands being added to their numbers at the day of Pentecost, but still recognizing that they're living under persecution. God really used that time. Notice how they're described in Acts chapter 2. It says this. It says they devoted themselves to the apostles' teaching and to fellowship, to the breaking of bread and the prayers. And awe came upon every soul, and many wonders and signs were being done through the apostles. And all who believed were together and had all things in common. And they were selling their possessions and their belongings and distributing the proceeds to all as any had need. With pressure on every side, the early church found comfort in the family of God. They came together to make sure that no needs were unmet. They came together to make sure they were supported and encouraged. They didn't neglect the teaching. They did not neglect prayer. And they made sure that they were fellowshipping together. Now, that's a little hard in the age of social distancing. But there are some ways where we can stay connected as a church family. I want to offer two of them to you today. The first one is this. We have developed an online survey, which sounds incredibly impersonal, but it's going to accomplish a very personal goal. We want to make sure that there's no gaps in our contact list. We want to make sure that we're able to hear directly from you in a very tangible way how you're doing, what you need, and how you stand ready to help meet the needs of others. We're going to have that survey available on our app, on the website, and it's going to be in the email that we're sending to you with this video. So we ask that every good lifer will fill this out so we can make sure we're not missing anybody on our contact list, and we can make sure that we know how you're doing and how you need help and how you're ready to help others. The other way that you can do this is through a Facebook group that we've connected for our Good Life Church family. This Facebook group will be a place where you can connect, ask questions, find encouragement, or we can post information, or we can post some responses to where you can go on and just make sure that you know how people are doing and people can know how you're doing as well. So maybe you're like me, you're not a big consumer of social media, but perhaps this might be a good time to get a Facebook account. Because I'm not a huge fan of social media, but it certainly is meeting an incredible need, and I'm very thankful for it in the times that we're facing now. So as we think about how we can connect and support our church family as the early church did, we can't forget why we have a church family and why we're here. We are here to make sure that the good news is shared. And take a look a couple verses down as to how God was using the early church during this incredibly trying time and how He blessed them. Later on, it says this. It says in verse 47, and the Lord added to their number day by day those who were being saved. That's my prayer in this time, that the Lord will use this season, this global pandemic, as a megaphone for the gospel and as a motivating force for His church, so that you and I are more focused on the brevity of life and the reality of eternity, that we are more focused on our mission to be people who love enough to share the good news and share life, and that we will be faithful to take care of those who are in the family, and we will use that safe place as a platform to reach out to a lost world that's desperately in need, not only of physical things, but more importantly, of the spiritual hope of Jesus Christ. So I encourage you, take that survey. We want all of our Good Lifers to take that survey. We encourage you to join our Good Life Church family Facebook group. And we also encourage you to make sure you stay connected with us every day at 128. Stay safe, stay connected, and we'll see you tomorrow at 128.